Good afternoon, everyone.
Hey, Rockstar.
How are you doing?
I'm doing.
Good.
How are
Good to
you?
see everyone. I'm good. I'm great. I've had a great creative morning. I was actually meeting with our super famous Christian Mortuzo TikTok. We're doing a big content day. So we went through like all the hooks and all the angles and all the B-roll shots we want to get and all the cool stuff. And it's going to be super fun. And I'm really excited. So that's
Nice,
where
nice.
love doing that stuff. But
Cool.
kind of goes into what we went over last week. So I know today we're meant to do open office hours. But Shane, I won't let you take away your limelight for the intro and do your thing. I'll let you.
I don't have a whole lot to do, to be honest. But yeah, as people are piling into the call here, just for the new people that are here, my name is Shane Hillier. I'm part of the Double Your Income coaching team. uh, about a year and a half ago or so, myself and my business partner, Brad Van De Walle, who ran the number one team at the number one Remax office in the world, we decided to start a coaching program that is 100% free. And we've been working on that ever since. We have about somewhere around 7,000 agents now registered to our Tuesday calls. And then more recently, Cara and I decided to, you know what? We need to start talking about some of the social media strategies and give real estate agents a whole new angle, a whole new edge. And that is what this call is about. So every Thursday, we are here at 1 p.m. We've got the wonderful Cara here hanging out with us and sharing some of the secrets. And Cara runs an agency here, actually local in town to me. Probably one of the more respectable agencies out there. She works with some of the largest teams in the country and has done some great work with a lot of real estate agents. Yeah, so that's what we do here today. If you're not registered to our Tuesday coaching calls, well, you should be. If you're here, you're probably registered to the Tuesday. But the Tuesday ones, we typically have Brad's on that call. That's usually a host in the call, and we usually have another coach that pops on there. It's pretty raw. The last one we had, I don't know who was on our last call on Tuesday, the one that just went by. That was pretty much a discussion about but the failures of agents. The statistics are pretty sad. And so, part of this is part of the motivation here, especially with our coaches. We got some great coaches. I mean, part of the motivation is really, some of these guys are trying to change the industry, to trying to add as much value as possible. And so anyways, the Tuesday calls are a great call if you want to learn some strategies from top producing agents. But today we're talking about social media. And Cara, let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit about what this is today, especially for the new people, and maybe a little bit of a sort of a highlight of the past, because I think this is week 5 now, right? That we've been doing this week 5, week 6.
Yeah. So by now, this is actually our second open office hours. So again, for those who are new and for a bit of a recap for everybody, we're doing an 8 weeks foundation, and we didn't specifically go into like one platform or one thing. Is that I wanted everyone to have a good, solid foundation of when they come and visit your profiles, what are they seeing? Are we creating what's called a frictionless opportunity for people to come in and actually put down their information, become a lead? So those are some of the things that we worked on in week 1 and week 2. What is the messaging? What is the branding? What kind of colors should you be putting? What should you be starting to talk about? And then we looked a little bit about creating a downloadable lead magnet so that you can actually give something of value to give them a reason to step into your funnel. And then last week, we got into probably, honestly, one of the toughest weeks, guys. If you managed to get on the call last week and go through and learn how to do that content roadmap and actually start creating it, kudos to you, man. I guarantee you're going to win. You're going to win at the social media game. And if you're one of the ones who didn't, because, it's a little bit daunting, that too is okay. We're going to find a way to see how we can help you get done. So today we're actually going to go through what did you come up with for your content roadmap. It is a chance to kind of share with everybody, because collaboration over competition. And let's go over who are the avatars that you chose and what are some of the big questions, what are some of the big objections that they're currently giving you right now, because that is where great content is created. So ideally, once we've gone through some today, I'd like to help you out and get some hooks. What are some out of the titles and topics that we've come up with? what are some of the hooks that we've used, because those hooks, that thing that you're going to say within the first 3 seconds is going to be a standalone really to guide you on what the heck you're going to be saying when you go to shoot these videos. And when you can identify what the hook is beforehand, it makes the process a lot easier. So I'm going to throw it back to you guys and see who, throw one in the chat for me if you at least attempted, you opened up the content roadmap, you made yourself a copy, and we've at least attempted and we've opened it. Let's see a one in the chat. Okay, we got Faiza, we got one, yes, but have some cues, but that's no problem, Bukesh. That's why we got you here. So far we got 2 people.
I'm curious to know how many people here are new today. And I have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, does anybody not know what we're talking about with the content roadmap? New today. James is new today. Okay, cool. That's cool. Second time attended, week 3. All right. Made copy, but never worked on it. That's okay. That's okay. Me too. All right. So that's okay. So I'm going to give you a little bit of grace and let you know it's not easy. And this exercise that you're going through, I can promise you will become better and easier over time. And the first little times you do it, it feels sticky, feels crunchy, doesn't feel that good to do it. And when you're, one of the things that I should have prefaced this with, and this is something actually I was trying to give my husband some advice on, because we're moving to Colombia and we are learning how to speak Spanish. And right now it's just really exciting. And the motivation is really high, because when you go and you take on something new and you go to learn something new, you're just so psyched about doing it. And then there's this big curve that happens. You get up there and you're like, oh man, this is actually really hard. And the motivation starts to wean off and dips down. And that is totally normal. So this would be right in tune with that time of everything. Notice how we've got 31. I think our first week, I think we started with like 68. So we're seeing a little bit of a dip down, but that's okay. Embrace the dip down, embrace the suck. You will get through on the other side. So let me find the copy. I'm going to grab the last week's slides here. While I'm doing that, because Rakesh, I know you said that you had some specific questions. Let's start with your questions, and I'll grab the slides and everything from last week.
And just for the new people, I just posted the link. So if you check the chat, I just posted the link to the Facebook group where we host the replays. And if you search the group for hashtag DYIC Thursday coaching call, all the calls will come up. So, and we posted all the links to the slide decks, including the content creator. And so if you've missed the past couple calls, you can definitely go back and watch those.
You know what might be good, Shane, is what if we create a pinned post at the top with each week linked there? Would that be?
Sure. I can do that.
Yeah, I think that would be super helpful. Okay, so Rakesh is the man, and he's getting super vulnerable in front of us all. So I just want to applaud you for that, because it's not always easy showing the class your work. So let's go through. So we've got. Let me do this. Let me take control of your screen and let's hop around here. Rakesh, how did this go, by the way?
Well, I got part of the way through, okay. But I'm finding that point number 4, I seem to be repeating myself. And okay. That's what I would kind of get an idea of what it is that's expected on that point.
Okay. Let's it's not allowing. Oh, there we go. The scrolling is it working, or is it just delayed on my end?
I just hit the lines that you had in your shell, that okay. One particular one. So there should be less scrolling to do.
Okay. Okay. Can you just scroll down? It's just the scrolling's not working for me. It's gone all over the place. Can you just go up to the first 4? I just want to take a look at your avatars here. Okay, so for those who weren't there last week, this is what's called the content roadmap. So obviously we don't want to repeat the whole lesson. So you definitely want to go back last week and check out those resources. I'm going to drop the Google Slides that we used last week. It has the link where you can access the copy to this roadmap. Content roadmap is where we come up with 4 avatars, and we're going to come up with the exact questions and answers that they are looking for, so that we can come up with content that positions you as the guy, the person to answer all of their deepest, darkest secrets. I can't seem to access the chat while I'm sharing your screen, but that's okay. I'm going to drop that in. So that is what we're doing right now. We're going to look at Rakesh. So T&D, the empty nesters. Okay. Looking to downsales, but upscale without taking on crazy new mortgage, their role. Okay. Goals, specific location in Oakville. Okay. I like that. A couple of options, buy land. Okay. Yep. I'm just reading through the questions and solutions. Will the price point be affordable? Yeah, love this, Rakesh. This is so good. Financial planner if they don't have one. Tips on how to review budgets. So the only feedback that I would give you right here, Rakesh, is in this very last column here in column I, like tips on how to review their budgets, introduce financial planner if they don't have one. Like you just do yourself a favor and get a little bit more specific. Because the reason why that we do this is, I'm going to show you, I think it's this next week or the week after, we'll go back to the schedule, but I'm going to show you the process that we use so that we can batch the content and come out with it all. But there are times where you want to go live, or there's times where you want to get a quick Instagram story out, or maybe you didn't do the batching and you just need to get some stuff down. The more you're specific, the easier it's going to be for you down the road. So what are like here, I would try to come up with the actual tips and start writing that out. And like a financial planner, like if you have something specific here to give them, that's where I would list it out. But I think this looks really great. What's some of the other did you come up with one persona here, Rakesh, or do we have multiple?
Yeah, I just worked on the one because I wanted to make sure I type this one down before I move on to the other ones.
Perfect.
It didn't make sense to repeat the same mistake on all the other three as well.
Yeah.
So just scroll down a little bit.
Yeah, let's look at the next section here. So again, for those who missed last week, whatever's in green, that's what we fill out. We don't touch the rest of this because it's actually got coding in this sheet. It's going to start building out all of the other cells here. So only fill out what's in green. Okay, so topics, how to get market trend reports, how to get historical reports on best times to buy and sell, list of reviews and builders. Okay, that looks good. How to take equity out of your home to invest for future opportunities to invest, pros and cons of buying in various markets. Yeah. So even there, you could get a little bit, like when you say various market conditions, yeah, you get a little bit more like, about if it's a recession, if it's not a recession, if the houses are doing this, if the houses are doing that, could get a little more specific, but that looks really great. Provide contact details of lenders who meet their requirement. Okay. Careful with that one, Rakesh. I don't want you advertising your lenders. Make sure they come through you. So I would just use more things along the lines of that you have very specific relationships set up with those lenders. Interested in local builders. Prepare a template offer for the right property comes along. Okay.
So this question I had in this section here. Yeah. You've got, I think the way it's supposed to work, and this is what I wasn't too sure, is you've got this section here where you're doing the track phase, if you want to call it that. So do you go across left to right, or do you go top to bottom and then move on to the next two columns and then so on?
I go across left to right.
So cross this way and then come back to the next line here to go across this way.
Correct. Yep. You've got it. Yeah.
Because what I found was I got through one or two of them, and then you get down to this page, but this section, and what it does is it repeats itself. And I'm thinking, I just answered these questions, and now I'm going to answer it again. So I wasn't quite sure on how that happens.
Sometimes it'll, sometimes you're going to feel a little bit redundant, but that's okay. Like keep fleshing it out, because as you get down to like sections 5 and 6, it starts to get fleshed out even more.
Okay. So from the gist of what you see there, is it, other than being a little bit more specific on it, is there anything else I could add in there or take away, or is it too many points there?
No, it's so never too many points. I think you've done a great job here. I think you've done a really great job. Just like I said, just get a little bit more specific. Like see how you're like move to a very specific location in Oakville. Like this is where the reason why I say specific, because the more you can get into your avatar's head of like the different areas, the different things specific things that they're looking for in that specific house, or like what does somebody in your avatar, what are they going to care and look for in a CMA? right? So this typical avatar has been through this process before, versus those who are on the call that maybe your avatar are the first time home millennials who are selling their house for the very first time. There might be little points in there that you could draw out if that would help them. Okay, now that was the other thing, is that in this particular section, this is geared really specifically to a particular couple that I've been working with. Yeah. And I was trying to get all the points out there so that if I can use them as a test case, then at least it helps me along in that way. But a lot of the things are not going to apply to other people. So what do you do in that instance? You just a lot of places that they would apply or they wouldn't. I just clarify. Would not apply, because I mean, let's face it, not everybody's going to move to Oakville. Right? Yeah, and that's good though. That's good. That's what you want. That's why we have like 3 to 4 different avatars. So that's okay. That's okay that the content that you're using for that specific avatar is not going to, it shouldn't really always apply. Like there's definitely going to be overlap between your avatars because we're talking about real estate, but that's good that that means you're getting specific enough. But the avatar is supposed to cover a general area or a specific client. So a general avatar is like one specific style of person. So you've got like first-time home buyers, you've got empty nesters, you've got people who are like retiring and moving into retirement homes. You've got people who are moving in from one large city to the next. So that's what we're trying to figure out, because it's based on like their stage, their questions that they're asking about their own unique buying and selling position. Okay. Yeah. All right. So in that case, then I think I'm okay to carry on. I'll fill up this again based on what you said, and then this should fill up based on what comes out from the top. Correct. Correct. It'll keep building out. And then this, I would like to add. So as you go through, it's just anything that comes to mind that maybe you didn't add into that point. That's where you just add it in there. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great job, Rakesh. Thank you. Let's give a round of applause. So you can take yourself off of mute. Rakesh, my man, coming in strong, coming in to win. I'm excited to see some of this video content, Rakesh. If time permits, let's see if we can help develop a couple of hooks based on some of the topics that you came up with, because that's not the next step. Now that we have an understanding of what are the questions and what are some of the things that they're asking, what are some of the hooks? Does anybody not know what a hook is or what a hook means? Sorry, Cara, before we get into that, can you, so with what Rakesh had created, can you sort of explain the idea behind, like, okay, here's now the information that you're pulling, because a lot of this information, I mean, it's not just for video content. I mean, you could use a lot of this for just, daily posts, newsletters, things like that, right? And so how do you, like, once you fill out all the information, like what content are you pulling out to start creating your posts, and like, what part of it is it that you need to focus on for that? Great question. So at that very bottom of the content roadmap is where we start to decide exactly what are the topics. And then you could decide there, is this going to become a newsletter? Is this going to become a caption? But once we go to the day where I teach you guys how to batch it, I'm going to show you the process of how we ideally use one video as long form content based off of these topics. These are the short form videos that we're going to make. And then how can that be translated into caption posts, newsletter posts, and all the other things so that you can really redistribute all of the content that you're making. So this is just to start getting those wheels turning so that you have an understanding of like, what do your people actually care about? Because sometimes we're not always super certain on that. So once we do, I'll check before we go today, I'll check exactly which week that we're going to do the batching of the content, but that's where we go through the process of taking what's been built on the content roadmap and then deciding, because you're personally going to be making some decisions whether you want to be doing YouTube or not. We work with some clients who thrive in the short form content style of stuff. So that's where we'll go through and decide what becomes what. But the simplest, easiest way to do this is honestly long form content that a YouTube video becomes many other smaller pieces of content. Does that answer your question, Shane? Yeah, for sure. And the other thing I'm curious about too, I mean, obviously we've had a couple comments here. It's like, oh, this is really overwhelming. And and it can be very time consuming for real estate agents that are, busier. And of course, you work with a lot of,
big agents that have, large teams. I mean, you just mentioned Christian, who, did, $500,000 in the past, 6 months, 5 months or so. So I mean, you can imagine how busy this guy is, right? Like how like, does it make sense for agents that are a little bit busier? Like, is it like, can they get their VAs to help out, or an assistant to help out with starting to create this, like going through that content sheet and help the agents do that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I would be careful there with doing it. Like, I know that this can seem daunting and overwhelming, but it should take you about a good 2 to 3 hours, and you'd have enough content for the next 6 months, really. So you want to take that time. Definitely know VAs, because your VAs are virtual. They don't understand your market whatsoever. And if you have a really good person on your team that works internally that's talking to your prospects, they go on the buyer's presentations, they go on the listings presentations, then that person is probably a good candidate to help you out with this, because they're listening, they can hear the questions, they understand that avatar. But nobody knows your avatar better than you. And if you've had somebody else write your content roadmap, it's going to be really challenging for you when you actually have to come up with making the content yourself, because you didn't come up with that, and you won't be able to lead with it. It'll be harder to make your videos. So I'd say eat the frog, get it done in the morning, get a nice big old coffee, get it done in the morning, and it's going to serve as your content roadmap for the next 6 months. So it sucks when you get it done trying to do it the first time, but I promise you it's going to pay in dividends. I'm going to see, Janita had a question here. When you refer to long form video being repurposed, is it the long form that is cut up to the content and redivided into short form? Yes, exactly, Gina. And that's what everybody does. That's what like the majority of the people are doing out there, that are really able to, when you hear Gary Vee talk about, and if, for those who don't know, he's like a very big marketer in this space who got everybody to do all this so crazy social media content to where they are now. But he talks about posting like 12 pieces of content per day. But that's not 12 complete individual posts. Those are usually coming from 1 or 2 key pieces of video and then are being repurposed. So for example, when a client submits a YouTube video to us, we can take that one YouTube video and it can become at bare minimum 12 different pieces of content, because it can become TikTok, it can become Reels. We can download it into an SRT file, which is like just a text-based file. We just put it in a piece of software. It can become a blog post. It can become a newsletter. It can become the captions that we use for Instagram. Maybe they said a really cool quote, and we can take that and like turn it into like an image that goes on Instagram with that one quote or that one thing that they said. So that's why long form video content is very powerful. But I say it with one caveat, right? It's not easy. And Shane can attest to this. His wife, Rochelle, is a beast when it comes to YouTube, but the amount of prep and work that goes into those long form content is quite a bit. So where we tend to be guiding a lot of our clients and when they start off with us, and, people like yourselves who are on this on your own, getting TikTok, Instagram, Reels done is going to be your best friend, because it requires the least amount of production, the least amount of preparation, and you don't have to have these big, long videos to create it. And you could to me, this stuff comes easier, but like for Christian's 1 day of content, it literally took me like 45 minutes. And within 45 minutes, I had 30 different hooks and different topics and different ideas, and the whole day all planned out. And that's going to be enough content for a long time for him. So it gets easier, but that was a long rant. I just went on.
I just posted Gary Vee's presentation on how to create 64 pieces of content per day.
Nice.
So if anybody wants to I've gone through it a couple times, and it's pretty fascinating. But it's exactly what he talks about, is like take whatever you do on one platform, you take it up, you chop it up, or you recreate it for the specific platforms. And he's doing it across all platforms, right? TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and so on. And it's pretty amazing. And the short form content is really simple too. And one of the things I think that YouTube, first of all, what I love about YouTube is that, you're creating this long form content that can be chopped up. But the other thing too, is it forces you to practice. Like it really, you need to get organized. You're planning out your videos, you're writing scripts and so on, because your YouTube content needs to be, relatively good. Your SEO needs to be good and so on. But then as you get better and better and create more and more videos, your short form content starts to become easier and easier to create, not just from your original video, but just because now you're so used to just like, jumping on camera whenever. Like we went to a water park yesterday because we're dying of heat here in Toronto. And so after school, we took the kids to the local splash pad here. And right away, like as soon as Rochelle got there, was like, all right, I'm going to shoot a quick video here of, the like, it's the big center that we have here. And she went out and shot a video, and it's going up on Instagram, TikTok, and so on. It's like, hey, if you want to move to this area, we've got a great community center, got a splash pad. You bring your kids here, families love it, you make friends, blah, blah. And she's showing around. And it's like a 30-second video that she literally shot in 30 seconds, first take. And there's another piece of content that's going to go up on her, on social media, right? So it starts to become easier and easier for you, especially because you start getting used to it.
Yeah, that's so true. And like more ideas come from it. So it's really funny. My DMs are right now flooding because I tried to make a TikTok for you guys this morning about how I'm going live at 1:00, and I could not get the word link out of my mouth. It just kept screwing up. And so I just went with it. And then I just clipped the last like few seconds about like the joys of making content. And now my DMs are just filling up of people laughing at me. So just a total side note, but yeah, I like what you have to say there, Shane, about it, when you do the long form content, it does allow you to show up, be better on video, because being good on video, honestly, at the end of the day is just like more reps. Nobody's good. You guys want some inspiration? Go look at anybody that you like to watch and enjoy their content, whether it's TikTok, whether it's YouTube. Go and look at the very first video they ever created. And it's probably really bad. It's probably not very good at all. So it'll make you feel a little bit better about going through this process. All right. Who's got some other questions? Let's help you guys out with your content roadmaps. If you need some clarity today on, Rakesh had some good questions about like, what is actually an avatar? If you need some clarity on who that is, what are some of the challenges that they're experiencing? Do you have any specific questions about the sheet itself?
Okay, can I ask a quick question?
Of course. Do I say your name Faiza? Am I saying that right?
Faiza.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a heads up. I have a child at home who's sick, so she might be interrupting us.
That's okay.
Okay. So my question is, I tried to complete that. So my avatar is a person who is a homeowner and wants to upsize. So I had a little bit of an issue with coming up with questions. I have worked with one. I'm fairly new in the industry, so I don't really know how to deep dive into it. Any suggestions? Where could I do a little bit, I don't know, I guess research as to what their questions might be? Like, how do I come up with this?
Yeah, great question. So your avatar is, so you said it's like a young family that wants to upsize. Did I hear that right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, I mean, Faiza, you being a young mom, you likely have some really good friends that you could reach out to just to ask for coffee and start going through some of the questions that they have. Right away, though, when I start thinking of somebody who is a young family is trying to upsize, likely some of the biggest questions that they're going to have is, how does the current equity have? What does that mean for the types of homes that they can get? Where's the best deal, the best neighborhoods, the best locations? What should they specifically be looking for when they're upsizing? What are some of the things that they could do with their current property? They're going to give them the maximum amount of value so that they can get the maximum size of house. What's the typical square footage, price per square footage in various markets? So what you want to do is you want to step inside. So you too, right, Faiza, you're a young mom. Think about like, what are some of the questions that you're going to ask when you're trying to move into that next house and go through the process. And it's a little bit harder when you've been a real estate agent for a while because like things seem so easy to you. Like, of course you would know the answer, but I can guarantee you your people do not. But I would get on the phone with some of your friends and ask them those very questions about what experiences they go through. What are some of the questions that they ask their realtor? And what were some of the things that they were looking for when they were choosing their realtor? What was important to them? And that's going to be a really good start for you. Does that help?
Yes, for sure. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, you're welcome. Great question. We've got some questions in the chat here. Reposting content is okay. Will it still count? So Preet, I'm going to assume that you're saying, I'm going to take the same video and I'm going to put it on Instagram and the same day I'm going to put it on Facebook. Am I summarizing you up correctly there, Preet? Yes. Okay, perfect. Great question. So number one, you can absolutely take the same content and skip a few steps and just repost it and not change a single thing about it. You have the okay for me to do that in the beginning. Once we start to take things a little bit more serious and we have more time or we have more resources, like a team behind you, we do want to make a few little bit of tweaks and changes so that it matches the platform a little bit better. Like TikTok has right now, like a big style is colored font with emojis and captions, and it's quick cuts. Whereas we find a little bit more of the raw, authentic style works better for the Instagram stories versus the type of video that goes on Facebook. It's square and it has a hook in the first 3 seconds. We keep it under 60 seconds and it's very specific. When you are when you're reposting and you just want to repost something, the only thing I don't want you to do is if you post it on Facebook on Friday, don't just automatically repost it over to Instagram, because there's very good chance that somebody who follows you on Facebook also happens to follow you on Instagram as well. And it's a really, really nice way to get your message across easier when maybe they've seen that video on Thursday on Instagram and then they've now seen it on Facebook on Tuesday. So you just have to separate them out a little bit. So on the day that I show you guys the batching of the content, I'm going to show you the exact software that we use so that you can upload the creative, and then you just choose the dates and times for which platform that you want to schedule that on so that you don't have that, it's happening everywhere at the same time. Vanessa says, how much time should we set aside for making video? So ideally, like 1 day per month. 1 day per month, you're going to shoot all your content. That is more than enough to get out where you're be able to show up every day on your TikTok, on your Instagram, and make that all up. I do a little bit more because this is the business that I'm in. So I got to put up or shut up. But typically our clients, we get them to shoot 1 to 2 days per month, get it all done, get it all batched together. So when we do the batching day, I'm going to show you guys the exact process, the step, everything that you go through. And then it makes it a whole heck of a lot easier. Tom says, in Shane's example with his wife posting at the water park, what hashtags would you use and how many? Can you do too many hashtags? Okay. Great question, Tom. So hashtags are a little bit different across various platforms. So Instagram allows you up to 30. I recommend using up all 30 because it's Instagram. It's really the only way that new people will find you, except, Reels is a bit different. The algorithm is a little bit different, but with Instagram, you want to end up on what's called the Explorer page. And the way in which you do that is to use the correct hashtags. And the way I approach Instagram hashtags is a 30-30-30. So 30% are on brand. They have to do with things that have to do with my real estate market. But please, everybody on this call, anything to do with realtor life, realtors at TikTok, realtors at Instagram, realtor mom life, all those realtor hashtags, don't use them because all they're going to do is attract you other realtors. You need to use hashtags that have to do with the content, that have to do with you and your brand, and that have to do with the location of where you are. When we use hashtags on Instagram, you want to search them, and we're going to do a whole other training on this, but just to help answer some of Tom's questions, you just go onto the Explorer page and search the hashtag. If the hashtag has over 150,000 people using that hashtag, don't use it because we're all too small of creators to actually receive anything from it. TikTok's a little bit of the wild, wild west. The algorithm doesn't necessarily rely as much on the hashtag. The algorithm relies on what the content is itself. You do want to use hashtags, about 3 to 4 maximum on TikTok. And I like to keep them right in tune with exactly what the content is about. But here's a little hack for you guys. Every 3 to 4 posts on TikTok, no hashtags. Use no hashtags at all, because sometimes you want to allow the algorithm to help really find some new people for you and figure it out for you instead of you trying to tell it what. So we'll do a full training on how you look and how do you see and keep hashtags. And then I'm going to show you guys my little trick of using your iPhone just to have, you hit a couple of buttons and your whole sets of hashtags will come up. And then I even have a spreadsheet with like all the hashtags that we use at the company that we set up for our clients. So I'll get you guys going well. Alec, when you say long form video, i.e. YouTube, is there a median time we should keep our videos to? So yeah, so like YouTube is ideally like it's over that 11, 12 minute mark, kind of up to the 17 to 20 minutes. That's the ideal spot that you want to be in. And then with Instagram, your videos have to be under 60 seconds. Otherwise, they're going to push you out into a reel. The TikTok, we're seeing 15 seconds, 60 second, 3-minute reels really aren't doing all that well. And that is because the way the algorithm works. So your content has to be very specific to a very specific audience in order for the really long form. And that is because they're judging you and your ability to get people to watch the entirety of the video. So you can imagine if you're going to come up with a 3-minute video on TikTok, it better be like super good to get people to watch it all the way through. But we'll go through that when we do some specific trainings on the individual platforms themselves. We'll go over exactly the more tactical stuff because I'm all about the tactics. I like real things, tangible things that I can go and create. So I hope that somewhat answers your question there, Alec. Some great questions coming in here today. Awesome questions. I do have a hard stop at 2:00 there today, guys. So if you've got stuff, now would be the time to deliver it in there.
Can I ask one more question, please?
Of course, Faiza.
Okay, so since past couple of weeks, what I did was just to change it up a bit from real estate, I started I'm a low carb diet fanatic. So I started putting in some videos showing low carb recipes, and that was just once a week kind of thing. In the beginning, it didn't do too, it was just normal. I got a lot of hits, but not that much. But last 2 ones that I did, I went viral almost. I got like 19,000 views.
Amazing.
On it. So, and I'm just wondering if that, I don't want to go viral. That's not it's not going to attract my niche, my client. Is that something I should continue to do, or should I stop?
Great. I love this question. Okay. So number one, congrats. That's amazing. I do think that it's very important that we showcase our personal parts of our life. So if low carb living is a part of it, great. Like fitness is a big part of me. And I guarantee my real estate agents that'll follow me on all socials, they maybe they work out. I don't know. Maybe they get inspired. I don't know, but it's a big part of my part of my personality that I like to showcase. So it is important that you are showcasing some of those. Again, though, you don't want all of the content. So I have another client that I work with. She had a large Instagram following all based off of food. And when we looked at who her followers were, they weren't from Toronto. They were these median ages who weren't trying to buy the houses. And it was a huge following of people that were likely not to become leads. So we are doing this to build up, not for the vanity metrics. Video views are nice, followers are nice, but if your channels are not producing actual buyer and seller leads, that's where we need to really rethink our strategy. Personal has to be a part of it. We can't be selling ourselves all the time. In fact, we should be selling ourselves very few and far between. But keep doing those low carb things because they are a part of what you are, but just keep them, sparsed in between the most important stuff. Does that help, Faiza?
Yeah, I'm only doing it once a week anyways. It was just
Perfect.
The last 2 ones were it went berserk. I'm still getting messages on it and I'm I don't know if I should continue to do this.
So what's funny is when you have which platform did it go viral on?
Facebook, out of all of them.
Perfect. That's one of the best places. Okay. So especially for Facebook, Facebook and Instagram's algorithm work like this. Whenever you put out a post or you put out a piece of content, they go, oh, this is a marketer. They're doing marketing. Are they good at their job? Let's show it to 10% of the people. And all of a sudden, all 10%, they love it. They're like, cool, we're going to show it to more. We're going to show it to more. And it'll rinse and repeat that process, provided that it's good content. So looks like what happened with Faiza is Facebook was like, wow, this is really great. We're just going to keep showing it to lots of people. Now what's going to happen is the next time for the next few posts that Faiza posts on Facebook, they'll get an extra big bump up there because now Facebook is thinking that Faiza is a really good content creator and that she puts out things that people have something of value. This is not how it works on TikTok. TikTok doesn't care about the followers and the posts of what you put out previously. It's all that one single piece of content is all judged on what the actions people take within the first few seconds. So, a guy like Christian who has this huge following, maybe that's not always the best thing for him, but a smaller creator who has no following, that's why we see these accounts get picked up like overnight, will just blow up out of nowhere, because that one video, that one piece of content that you made starts blowing everything up. So Faiza, I would be very careful with the next couple of posts that you put out. They're my money posts. Okay. When I say money posts, they are the posts that I'm going to put out that is going to garner me the most amount of business. So I would use these opportunities to showcase the lead magnet that you made. So let's say, Faiza, you said your person is young families. So, maybe you have identified after talking to some of your young families, maybe they live in a 2-bedroom townhome in Oakville. I'm just giving out some examples here, right? Is there a guide that we can come up with, like the top 5 things that will increase your 2-bedroom townhome for max max price? It's a terrible name. But just as an example, that is what I would use as my next post. I'd be like, I just created a guide that is X. Who needs this? And it's very similar. If anybody goes and looks at my Facebook profile today, I did this like 2 weeks ago. I said, I just created a PDF with over 75 TikTok video idea. Who needs this? And like within the hour, I literally had hundreds of comments because people wanted that. And so now that's going to boost you back up all over again, because now Facebook's like, holy moly, now she's putting out something and everybody's engaging with it. And it's just this like cycle. On the opposite, the same thing happens when you put out bad content. So that's why I'm always telling my team and my clients and people who we help coach, if you would not put ad spend behind this, if you not put money behind this post, do not post it. So the stuff that the brokerage gives you, like here's this template, put an MLS behind it when you have a listing and splatter our colors and our logos all over it. Don't use it. This is why we focus so much on the video and is because you are being judged every single time that you put out a post. So when you put out a bad post on Facebook or on Instagram, it's going to have the adverse effect. So even if now you start coming out with even better content, it's affected by the previous post that you did.
Okay.
Go get those
Makes
leads,
sense.
Faiza. Yeah.
Thank you.
So Tom, 30% of the brand, 30% should be right on to like what the actual content is. And then the other 30%, I like doing something with location involved. So, if there's specific neighborhoods that you like to farm or cities that you're specifically only in, that's where I would look up. And then I would also have some other hashtags ready to go about that location. So, but when we do the actual hashtag training, I'm going to give you guys some templates of what you can do to use. So that makes this process really easy for you. And then I always put the comments on Instagram. I put the hashtags in the comments, keep that post nice and clean. As long as you do it within the hour. Quick questions today, guys. All right. We got 15 minutes left. What about reposting older content? Okay. Alec, great question. Be careful with just reposting, especially when you're dealing with like Facebook and Instagram, because like it's only going to your followers, right? And if they've seen it before, you can try. The algorithms will recognize though that this is just another reposted, that it's not something fresh. So it's very likely that it won't do anywhere near as good. But I will say is go back and look at your best performing content and find new, fresh ways to do it. One of the coolest things about TikTok, and I went through it. I love using Christian as an example because he just crushes it. And we had such a good meeting this morning. And I went through all of his old stuff and I was like, let's just do this again, because it's the For You page is where all the views are going to come from. So you can take one hook, you can take one angle and just keep making it in a whole bunch of different ways. So you don't have to be reinventing the wheel. You don't have to be coming up with new content ideas all the time. You just have to find a different way just to showcase it. That hook, that one angle, maybe one time you do it from watching you get out of a car. Maybe you're walking into a listing. Maybe you're on your phone. There's different ways that you could get that shot and have the same message, but the way in which you do it just gets picked up better within the algorithm. And then you just continue to learn from like what's working. So try not to just reuse old stuff that you've got because your audience knows, and so does the algorithm. Loved this training. Thanks, Alec. Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think another idea too. So this is what we're doing with some of the content that we've created. We had one video really blow up on YouTube, but 80,000 views, and but I think we're up to about 700 comments now. So the idea with this piece of content, like we're obviously, it's like, okay, what can we do to, to get the exact same effect from another video? And so what we're doing is we're taking all the comments. So, and we're just creating a part 2 to that video. And hopefully, hopefully we'll get some engagement on it similar to what we had. So it's going to be very similar title, very simple, but just, new content. And it's so much easier now to create because we know exactly what to create because all the content's in the comments. So, just sometimes, recreating the same or using the same post, but just recreating something a little bit different can work very, very well. The other thing too, I just want to go back on the Facebook engagement stuff. One of the strategies we used to do this when we monetized a lot of our digital products. We used to copy other people's engagement posts. So like we'd scan Facebook, we're looking for posts that are highly engaged. And then we just take those. And in fact, in our paid group, we had a thread of all the highest engaging posts. I don't know if you remember that, Cara, but so we used to take those. And the strategy was take one of those posts, use that to get the engagement, and then post your money post shortly the day after, 2 days after, whatever, once you've gotten a lot of engagement on the first one. And we did that for a very, very long time, and sold a lot of product through that. And it worked well. So, just remember, you need that one post to get a lot of engagement and then start posting after that. So you can keep up the engagement. We do have another question here. The question was, how can I brand myself to be different from other realtors with different content?
That's a good question. Good question. So the first thing here is look at your niches, your avatars of who you want. There are some very specific types of avatars you can go after. So one of the niches that I'm in love right now, even though the whole crypto market is down, there are entire like certifications and things out there for people who want to sell their home through an NFT, through crypto. And it can bring a very affluent type of client your way. And that in itself would be very specific content that a lot of the people, if that's who you want to go after, could be very cool for, especially if you go after millennials or you want to do stuff on TikTok, would be a very cool niche. There's other niches like your relocation specialist who works with big corporate companies. So it's about identifying like who is your person and getting into their head. That one, I know this sounds really, really simple, but have a look, guys. Go look at your competition. Go look at what they're posting on social media. They are not doing this. The number one way in which for you to stand out and be different from all the other realtors out there is for your prospects to understand that you are their person who understands what their challenges are and that you've identified that and that you have solutions for that. So the number one way that you're going to connect to people is through doing this video and showing up day after day with your content. That is how you're going to stand out between all the other realtors out there because they don't do it.
So let me just, I want to add to this because I did a presentation in front of about 200 real estate agents. I think it was about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And my presentation was all about video. And I think a question like this actually came up. But one of the questions I asked the audience is how many people here are actually doing video? And out of the 200, I think maybe 3 people may have raised their hand. So if you're looking for a way to stand out just by you showing up on camera and getting that out on social media, you're already standing out from everybody else. And just remember that. It may seem, the one thing is that it looks like a lot of people are doing this. It looks like a lot of real estate, but it's the same people over and over again. And yeah, you might, there might be 3 or 4 people in your own market, but that's like, in my market here on TikTok, I might see the same 6, 7 real estate agents, maybe a little bit more. There's 60,000 licensed agents here. Like you are standing out if you're getting in front of a camera and putting it on social media. Like that's a huge first step, just that alone. So don't forget that. And the other thing too is people may connect with you instead of somebody else, right? Just because of your personality. That's the other big one.
Beverly's saying on Instagram, I'm getting followed and messaged by random guys who are either fake accounts or scammers. How can I tell who's legit? I'm leery on all messages that just say, hey, or how are you? But what's the best way to stop this? Yeah, unfortunately, it's definitely a part of it. You'll see, they usually will come in under the request. So with Instagram, typically you have to be following each other in order for that message not to end up in the other inboxes, but you want to be checking your other inboxes because that's where you'll actually get people DMing you. So there's a couple of ways you can handle it. Number one, you can go and have a look at the actual account. Does it seem like it's a real person that you should be spending your time on and replying to that? The second thing is to have a VA come in where you hire somebody, you pay them, $5 Canadian an hour to help manage your inbox and manage your comments and your DMs. I actually really recommend this. And if there is enough vote from the group, I can show you how to manage that process. How do you find these people and how do you do that? You have to be hanging out there. We used to do quite a bit of cold outreach to realtors to typically work with them. We don't do this as a method anymore because we've grown quite a bit. But I'm shocked. I literally just got a message back from a realtor from a year and a half ago. And they're like, how can I help you? And I was like, whoa, lady, we need to help you out because this message was from a year and a half ago. So I would say, so 15 minutes. Okay, perfect. Yeah. We'll have to add that to teach you guys how to do this process. But number one way, hire a VA, get them to help manage the DMs, but you got to get in there. Hey, how's it going? Can I help you with your real estate buying needs? Are you looking to buy or sell? Right? If somebody answers you yes with that, now we're talking with somebody good. If somebody's like, no, I want to introduce you to my Forex trading bot, now you can like, hey, bye. I don't even respond. Just block them, block all other accounts. See you later. So unfortunately, the bots is it's part of it. Alex says, you may not know, but I have heard of a website that you can type in a niche and give you the top questions Googled in your specific area. Does that ring a bell? Yeah, it's called Answer the People. Answer the Public, Answer the People. It's a great website for Answer the Public. Yeah. I think so that's where, so that's where if you want to get some topic ideas. Another really cool place for hooks, actually. Here, I was just on it today. Let me grab you the website. Title generator. So yeah, this one here, let me share my screen. Okay, so for those who don't know, a hook is what we say in the first 3 seconds of a video to get somebody to watch, where it is a question or it creates curiosity or it creates some sort of FOMO, some fear of missing out. And so once you've come up with your topics, now we actually need to come up with the hook. Here, let's say we are just trying to come up with ideas. You could we're doing a lot of the recession, the upcoming recession is definitely getting a lot of people talking right now. Like, how does this play into your clients, your potential clients? There's definitely some good topics in here. So you could literally just come in here and type in recession. And then it's going to give you all kinds of ideas like take advantage of the recession, read these 5, listen to these 5 tips, the 5 best things about the recession, 40 tips to grow your business during a recession. So you can just see here, what this is going to do is just really going to help you come up with some really good hooks, but build on some of the topics. So I'll drop this in here because I do think it would be helpful for you guys' content roadmap. Check that out. So check out that website. I've been using it quite a bit as of late. It's pretty cool. So you can just put whatever topic you want in there. Let's go young families. Young families, right? And this doesn't have to be just your hooks too, right? Like some of these could make a really good subject line for the email newsletter that you're going to put out. Or some of these could be the first opening line in the caption that you're going to use on an Instagram post. But it's going to generate all kinds of ideas. Let's see. Yeah, so secrets could be cracking the code for young families to upgrade into a semi-detached 3-bedroom home. Things like that. So I hope that website helps. Cool. Great topics today. Great input from everybody. We got 4 minutes left on the call to help you guys out with any good questions that you got left for the day. So we've got a few more people trickling on as of late. I really appreciate you guys joining on late. There's definitely going to be a recording where you come back. If anybody needs me to repost any of the slides, now would be the time to throw it in there.
The slide, all the links to the slides are in the replays.
Okay, perfect. I've got Janina. Janina, I'm going to get you the link. Janina is asking if we have opened up a few more spots for the profile optimization. For those who don't know, we ran a special a couple of weeks ago where we come in, optimize all of your profiles. We write that guide for you. We write the actual like downloadable guide, create the landing pages, and we actually just go right into your social media channels and we just do it for you. And it also includes a one-on-one session with our brand and social media manager. So it gets you a little bit of clarity, but I'm going to drop that link for her here. And each week we open up a few more spots because there's only so many that we can take because it's quite a bit of one-on-one work, but I'll drop that link here for you. So if anybody is still not getting that stuff done, I'm telling you guys, we'll get it done for you. Make your lives a whole lot easier.
Rakesh is asking, are we able to set aside a few minutes next week to review the roadmap once more in case there are more questions?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The calls are open for whatever you guys need, right? Like it's just because we cover one thing one week doesn't mean that you can't ask the questions in that next week. Even if you guys have got random stuff or you got some random question, then just bring it in. Can that be for unlicensed?
Yes.
Mira, can you? Yes.
Sorry, I was just saying. I was just answering if the roadmap is last week's training. Yes, it was. Yeah.
Okay. I've got Mira. She just sent me a private question. Can you retype that because I don't know what you mean? Can that be for unlicensed? Marcelo, maybe this has been covered, but I was like personal or business account for Instagram or Facebook. Woohoo. All right. So Marcelo, so we've got your personal Facebook profile, which you definitely should be doing stuff with because we do lots of business over there. Then we have your business Facebook pages that we concentrate on. And then your Instagram, I do recommend having it as business because you have access to more analytics to pay attention to. TikTok, keep it personal. And the reason why that is they actually still give us quite a bit of analytics to look from. And you'll have access to all the sounds. Once you go commercial, you turn it into a business account. There's a lot of sounds and trends that you can't use anymore, which I don't recommend. Real estate. Can I build a page for me? Not real estate. Fadmira, why would you want to do that? Can I build a page for me? Not yet. Oh, you're not yet. Oh, yeah. Totally. Yes. Just because, yes, absolutely. Build the page, talk about the content. You just can't be, I think you'll have to check with your local real estate board what their rules are. You probably just can't be saying things like reach out to me to find a home here, or I can do a home evaluation for you because you just wouldn't be licensed yet. But yeah, definitely start building that. I love that you are already thinking about growing your audience before you're even there. So you are on the right path, my dear. All right, let me drop the link one last time here for everybody in case you want that optimized. But other than that, that's
just really quickly here. Terry's just asking, will all of this be on the DYC Facebook page? It'll be in the Facebook group. So both the DYC Mastermind group, that's a private group, and then the Real Estate Marketing Conversion Mastery Facebook group. So the replays are posted there. And if you need access to those, just shoot me a message. I'll send you links. Okay, it's 2:00. Shall we wrap up?
Yeah, we got one last question here.
Okay,
Amy, how important is the TikTok, Instagram username? It's pretty important. I'm going to, Amy, go back to week 2. Go back and watch week 2. You'll have a little bit of look at how we optimize that Instagram profile itself. And if you still need some clarity, come back next week, Amy. We'll look at your actual stuff. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I'll see everybody back.
Cara, really quickly, what are we covering next week? Really fast.
No, so next week we're batching content. We're going to learn how to batch out our content. We're going to see what do we do on that one day? What does it all take? How do we get it done so that we can start? Because remember, it's like August is right around the corner, you guys. And what was the goal of this? We want all of our content done for August so we can all go on vacation and have a great old time while we're just raking in the leads. So next week, we're going to show you how to do that.
Awesome. Good stuff. Everybody, thank you so much.
Hi,
have a wonderful rest of your week and weekend. And we will see you same time next week. Same link, Thursday, 1 p.m. Cara, thanks so much.
Thank you. See you guys.
All right, guys. Take care.